Warning: the following show contains research done by highly trained professionals. Prior to researching, please refrain from doing solo investigations. This will prevent your chances of risk of injury. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of North West Georgia Cryptics. As always, I'm Rick Weaver, and I'm joined with my co-host, Mr. Blake Duckworth. Tonight, our special guest again is Mr. Scott Martin from ParanormalAwakening. Scott is on to give us a recap of some of the evidence that he's gathered here in the last couple of months since he was on here before. Scott, you've got the floor, buddy.
All right, how do I begin? So my brother was going to be on the show with us today, but he couldn't make it, so I'm going to speak for him. And to my brother, if you're listening, if I do mess up anything, I'm sorry in advance, but, I can only remember so much from the time that we were together for this adventure. And so my brother lives in Florida, and we were walking around his neighborhood, and there's a little pond, and I was walking with him and looking at this weird structure that has, it's sort of like it's like a broken tree with a tree leaning and then another tree leaning to it. At least that's what I think it is. And I was filming that tree and taking pictures, and right behind the tree, you can see like a creature or cryptid of some sort with two pointy ears. I don't know if it's Bigfoot or if it's something else, or maybe my imagination, but I caught it on my camera, so obviously it's got to be something. And before that, we had encounters of 4 cryptids or Bigfoot. We don't know what it is, but all I can tell you is that it was some sort of shaggy being that can walk on water. And my brother and I, we were walking right by the ponds, and my brother was the first person that pointed it out, not me, which was kind of strange, because I love this topic of researching cryptids, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. And so when we experienced this, I was just in complete utter shock. And I don't think there's a human that can walk on water that I've seen before. And when it comes to Bigfoot and Sasquatch, I think that they might have some sort of potential power of being able to walk on water, because as ridiculous and crazy as it sounds, some people might say, when I saw these 4 beings, it was 4 of them in a group. They were running, literally running, like if you've ever seen a marathon, you know how people are running like this? It looked exactly like that, a big 6 to 8 foot tall creature hunched over, and it was phenomenal. Like, you would have to be there to believe it. And I know some people are skeptics, and some people might disagree with this or agree, and I still don't know if it's Bigfoot or another cryptid, but my belief, though, is that it's definitely something, and definitely something that's not like a bear. I know there's, I think, leopards out there in Florida or something like that, like big cats out in Florida, and gators and all that, but definitely something. It was shaggy, brown. You could see its eyes as well, and it was just crazy seeing it in person, too.
How far were you from them?
Okay, so this is where it gets tricky. I'd probably say 20 feet, probably 20 to 40 feet, if I had to guess. But also it was at when the sun sets, so my eyes were a little bit blurry too, because I was also tired and fatigued a little bit. but it was really crazy seeing what I saw. And you would just have to be there in person to see it. And a few minutes later, we also saw another Bigfoot, or at least some sort of cryptid. And so I did catch it on film. I'm pretty sure I still have the footage. I hope if I didn't delete it. But my brother said to me, "Dude, let's go walk around and spook it behind the bushes and catch footage of it on another angle." And I said, all right, let's go see if we can get another angle of it. And so we start walking around this bush. It just disappeared right in front of us. It literally disappeared. And my brother was like, what? Where did it go? And I was like, I don't know. I was looking at it the whole time. And this one was eating something, maybe some sort of animal, like a squirrel or something. I don't know what Bigfoot eats primarily, but it was eating something. It was like hunched over and eating something. And you can clearly see in the footage, too, the two eyes. And people would say, oh, yeah, it's blurry. Yeah, that's because it was at nighttime, and my phone can only do so much detail, you know? But that was just two of the most recent crazy encounters I've actually had. And it was so shocking that I don't experience that same kind of stuff here in California than I do in Florida. And that makes me wonder if there's potential other species of Bigfoot or Sasquatch, like skunk apes, you know, and maybe I just don't know, man. Maybe they act different in different locations because they're not used to me being there. And I remember in my footage on my YouTube channel, this one has almost 1,000 views, by the way, and it's titled "Clan Spotted in Florida." I think that is what the title is called. But it's one of my most recent uploads, and in that video, you can hear, and if you slow down the video on the YouTube settings, you can also see some potential beings in the backgrounds in the forest. And, you know, every time I'd ask them to give me a signal or a sign, they'd always respond, which is just crazy.
Okay, now Scott, you said they responded. How did they respond to you on that?
So when I would say, make a noise if you're here, you know, they would just rise up and start, like, it was almost like a chant. And I don't know if it has something to do with maybe Native Americans or, I mean, it is in the South, so I know there's a lot of history behind Florida, but I don't know if it's because of that or if it's Bigfoot or if it's just maybe a lot of everything. And so, you know, it could be many things speaking to me at once, which is why it sounded so weird. And some people could say, oh, it's just crickets, but also at the same time, why would there be 1,000 crickets on one spot too, when there could be 100 Bigfoot trying to mimic and make me think that it's crickets or some other sort of creature?
Blake and I have encountered what they refer to as samurai chatter, which is a form of communication, or believed form of communication with the Sasquatch, and it's
basically it's a language that we don't know the actual, you know, we know kind of what it is, but we don't know, like, you know, what the meaning of the words or anything is. It was a language that was used about 1,000 years ago.
So this has been around for a long time then.
Yes, so we just don't know how to decipher, you know, the actual words or anything. We just know that it was an actual language.
Right. It basically sounds like something is trying to speak to you, but it sounds like it's without syllables.
Yeah,
to the word.
Yeah. It was kind of like it was like Morse code almost. It sounded so weird. It was like unbelievable. But it sounded like there's at least 100 of them, or 200. And
I know the first time Blake and I encountered it was down at the lake area we go to, one of our research areas, and we'd started from the cemetery down to the lake, and we got to hearing it, and it sounded like it was in front of us, and then all of a sudden it sounded like it was coming from the trees. It was a wild trip at night, wasn't it, Blake?
wow. Did you guys feel like some sort of energy around you? Like, was it like a positive energy, or was it like a negative energy?
I mean, far as energy, not really. Just more of, the sensation of being watched.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. I felt like I was being watched not by one thing, but by many things. Like, there's just so much out there. Like I told you guys, we saw 4 beings running across the water, and it was about 6 to 8 feet tall for each of them, and maybe 2 or 1 like baby beings, like maybe like, I don't know, little. It looked like little Ewoks, basically, from Star Wars. That's how I describe the creature. Is that it was 2 like maybe small little Ewoks, and then 2 really tall, like Chewbacca-looking beings, and it was crazy. And I don't know if maybe there's a whole clan potentially in the forest, but then again, I'm gonna have to go back out.
I know Florida in general, especially the swampy areas, they're real known for skunk apes. I mean,
Yeah.
my fiance was down there last year, and see, she's not really like, she believes in Bigfoot, but like, she's not really into the whole subject or anything. And her and her mom and our son had took a trip down there, and they were on I don't know what part of Florida they were exactly in, but she didn't tell me this because until like a month or so that after they had come back. But anyways, they were on a road, and it had, the road went in between 2 areas of swamp. So you had a swamp on each side of the road. It just pretty much went down the middle of the swamp area. And she said that she seen something run across the road. Something, big, black, brownish color, and run across the road, a decent distance from the vehicle. And anyway, when she does tell me a story, she's like, I didn't tell you I seen a bear down in Florida, did you? I'm like, no, you didn't tell me. And she was like, yeah, I watched a bear run across the road on 2 legs. I'm like, hold up.
That's exactly what it looked like. Like,
I seen, you seen what? Because she thought it, she wasn't thinking Bigfoot. Like, she don't like the, I mean, like I said, she's not really into Bigfoot. Like, that kind of scares her a little bit. So, I mean, something like that, she just gonna ride off as telling her brain, hey, I seen this. Well, she gets telling me the story. I'm like, it ran on 2 legs across the road. I'm like, well, bear don't run on 2 legs, right?
They definitely don't.
I was like, I mean, they can stand on 2 legs, they can stand on their hind legs before as actually run. And she's like, no, this was looked like a hairy creature run across the road on 2 legs. I'm like, you've seen a skunk ape.
So the difference between, there's Sasquatch, there's skunk ape, and there's Bigfoot, and then there's Dogman, right? Dogman.
Well, okay, right? So Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and skunk ape. Basically, that's just different terminologies for the same creature for the most part. Now, they like they are reports of like skunk apes looking a little different than say what we report here as far as Bigfoot, but I mean they're all the same. All the same thing, just different words for them. And then like. You got Yetis, which, is a different term as well. I mean, but you hear a lot of negative encounters with Yetis. They seem to be more aggressive. So, I mean, are they the same genetics between them? I don't really know. But basically, I would say it's the same thing.
Has there ever been, like, any reports of anyone being killed by any of these cryptids?
Well, Yes, they are some stories.
Say hello, folks.
And when I say stories, they're stories. You know, the origin of them. A couple of them have good origins and everything. But if you really want to look into something, look into the Missing 411. That will really that will really intrigue your interest on that aspect of it. We have a lot of, you know, especially it's a common thing in state parks and stuff like that. You know, we have a lot of people who come up missing, and a lot of these people are hunters and stuff like this that are, you know, well trained in the wilderness. You know, don't really go off the beaten path, know where they're at when they go places. That just come up missing and nobody to be found. Or there's stories of like missing children that these children are found, you know, 10, 15 miles in just a couple hour period from where they were, you know, where they come up missing at. So that's basically what the missing 411 is. It's a lot of stories and stuff of, you know, these mystery disappearances and you know, far as deaths and stuff, and people just come up missing. So I mean, and a lot of people
maybe there is a connection.
A lot of people believe that there's a connection to Bigfoot, whether if that's really what it is, because there's some UFO aspects into it and stuff like that. So I mean, just look it up. Just there are a couple books out on it, and they've actually got a movie out on it as well.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is I'm currently trying to apply to the state parks and for volunteer work. So that way I'm like, you know, volunteering to basically work in Bigfoot country, because I love being in the woods. I love it, and I want to be able to spend more time in the woods. But in my area, you know, I don't know many woods in my area other than this forest area that's right. As crazy as it sounds, I live in a completely neighborhood like city. Like there's a lot of neighborhoods in my area, but there's this one area behind a tree or behind a house that's currently being built, and I'm trying to enjoy the trail while it still exists, and I want to get back out there as soon as I can, maybe do a night investigation. But you know,
no, is it a fairly isolated piece of woods? I mean,
it is. It's so isolated.
Is it connected to other? You know, does it continue from there, or they, you know, or is it more of an urban area?
Nobody knows about it in my area. I've talked to many people about it, and they don't know about it. Like I know everyone in my neighborhood in the neighborhood next over. Well, I know a few people in the neighborhood next over, but you know, I've asked some people recently, and I was like, you know, do y'all know about this trail? And they're like, nope. And I really hope no one finds out about it other than me, because it's literally a secret trail. And so I was on that trail recently with my aunt who passed away, and we were walking across this trail, and we came across like a little pond, and it just seemed like she called it the hidden gem trail, and that's what we call it now. And because it really is a hidden gem, and there's so much in that world. It's like you're in a whole new world. If you've ever seen the movie Avatar, it feels like you're walking through that. And I'm talking about Avatar with James Cameron. If you've ever seen that movie, it feels like you're walking through one of those forests, because it's completely magical. And I really wish I could bring all my research friends along with me to this trail. And it's so crazy being there. And I remember my aunt, she has a friend who's really big into paranormal stuff and all that. And then there's me as well. And she's kind of like, she just likes being in the forest, you know. She's not too big into Bigfoot research as much as I am. But I just remember her telling me, like, do you feel that sense of like we're being watched? And I was like, yeah, I do. And like right when she said that this was earlier this year, and right when she said that, we looked to our right. I didn't get this on video, which is stupid, but we looked to our right. Maybe I did, but we looked to the right, and I could hear like foot stomps. Like it literally sounded like, I'm not sure if my mic is picking this up, but it sounded like this. and you can literally hear it, but you can't see it. And I'm like, what? How can you not see it? You know? And I love doing this research field, but like, it really scared me, the fact that I couldn't see whatever was loud and stomping. But I mean, nothing bad happened, and we didn't see whatever it was. But potentially, maybe these beings do have some crazy technology that we don't even know about. You know, because I don't think I've ever seen a report of anyone coming across one sleeping. Otherwise, there'd be so many pictures of it around the web. And that just makes me think that maybe they have some sort of secret technology that we don't know about.
Well, I don't think it's necessary technology. I think it's more of just abilities.
Yeah, that too. I think, you know, considering they're an interdimensional creature, they do have abilities to be able to blend themselves, cloak themselves. You know, I do play a lot of video games where you could be some sort of alien and turn invisible. So I don't know if it's abilities like that they might have, but I think that's something that we should also be cautious about, is not only what we're seeing, but what we're hearing as well. And
Well, a lot of that aspect of, you know, the cloaking aspect, I don't really think it's so far-fetched far as like actually what it is. I don't think it's actually like they're just disappearing. I think it's more of a camouflage technique. I mean, we know of many creatures or many animals that are able to camouflage with their environments. I think that's more of what it is. You know, and you're talking about hearing something, not being able to see it. They're just so good at, you know, hiding. They're you know, and blending in with what's around them. So I mean, you know, if they don't want to be seen, you're not going to see them.
I agree, and maybe that's why when I told you that story earlier in the podcast, when my brother and I were walking around that bush to see what it was, and it disappeared on us. Maybe it has only certain abilities where you can see it from a certain angle, and maybe it has some sort of shield where you can't see on a certain side. But I don't know if that is true or not, and if there is anyone that does know about that, please let Rick or Blake know, and maybe they can reach back out to me on that, because I definitely love to learn more about that, and it's really crazy.
And that is true, Barry. I mean, the sound can be very deceiving in the woods. I mean, something can, far as your distance, it's hard to judge far as sound.
You know, one of your guys' viewers, is it okay if I can read one of their comments?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so he said sound can be really deceiving. I do agree with that, based on direction and distance and all that. And you know, I remember I was in the trenches in a local town near me, and I just remember that feeling of like, what direction do I go in? And my team and I, we were just like, dude, what direction do we go in, or where do we go? And it was so confusing, and it just felt like you were in a whole new world. And I just remember that feeling later on, hearing multiple noises, and it was really strange too. Just knowing that sometimes it could be because of the fatigue, or being tired, or other stuff too, and maybe that's why I hear or see things. But then again, I do believe that there definitely is something out there that that does have these special abilities.
Well, you know, we have interviewed many people throughout the Bigfoot world over the last 6 months or so, and uh, you know, we've encountered a lot of stories, kind of like yours, where people could actually hear these things or hear something moving around in the woods, you know, 10, 15 yards from them, but never see it. And, you know, that's something that Blake and I have discussed many times. You know, there's actually no telling how many times that we've been within 20, 30 foot of these creatures while doing investigations in the forest and never see them, never know they're there. Uh, you know, I know Blake and I here a few months ago was down down on John's Mountain, and we'd started into this old lake area over there, Pilcher Lake, and we all of a sudden started getting this uneasy feeling. He and I both did at the same time, and
Wow.
we had to. We finally, it became so overwhelming that we turned around and went back to the truck, and so but we actually heard whatever this was. There was something in the woods about 40 yards up into the wood line. You could hear it walking, but we shined our lights up into the woods and could never see nothing at all.
Wow. That is crazy. One of my friends, I gotta get him on your guys' podcast. He's pretty cool to talk to. His name is Alexander Owen Under the Veil on YouTube, and in one of his recent, a few videos ago, he captured some sort of footage and video of like two creatures or beings like fighting each other. It was really weird, and I was watching the footage over and over, and I was like, dude, that's crazy. And it's just so wild that maybe, like, I know sometimes people fight, like we have UFC fighting, boxing and all that stuff, and then we also have fighting when someone gets into a road rage with us. But then there's also the Bigfoot, and maybe there's clan territories or other forms of fighting that they have, because since we've had Native Americans and the natives, we've had different clans all through since like caveman times. We've had territories, we've had clans, and we've had groups, and maybe these other creatures also have the same history that we do, just in the different form of what they look like.
Right, I'll agree with you 100% on that. As researchers, we're all, and I'm sure you found them, we've all found X structures, things that, I myself consider as being territorial markers for the Sasquatch. And yes, I do feel that if one clan if one Sasquatch clan gets over into another territory, it's just like bear and big cats mark their territories. Even cats, just small cats out here in the wild, they mark their territories. And if another male comes into that area, then yeah, there's going to be a fight. Well, yeah, I think Sasquatch does the same thing.
Yeah, speaking of structure, on my website, ParanormalAwakening.org, I have a research library tab, and I have a picture of one of their structures, like a little structure I think that maybe they're focusing on starting to build. And maybe when I come out there next time and go to the same location, maybe it'll be a whole structure by then. And I think maybe these structures that a lot of researchers see. I know there's so many of my friends in this field capture phenomenal structures. I'm absolutely jealous of what they capture, because what I capture is just the baby stuff. But maybe that's a sign to me that I'm only a beginner, in this field. But anyways, maybe these structures are some sort of symbol of their territory. At least that's what I think. And maybe they do have fights and clan battles or stuff like that, because we have nation battles currently, with things that are going on around the world. And I think that maybe there's also another connection between our history and Bigfoot's history, or Sasquatch or Skunk Ape or Yeti, between their connection and our connection. History repeats itself, definitely does, and that there's always that battle that they have and that we have.
Right, I feel you're completely right on that one. Blake, are you going to sleep on us, buddy?
Just listening.
Don't make me fly out. Don't make me fly out there and slap you, or splash some coffee in your face. I'm only joking.
Okay, Scott, you were talking about being in Florida. Were y'all down around the Everglades?
Where is that? Because we're in Daytona Beach. Do you know where that is?
Yeah. No, y'all were a good ways from the Everglades. I've actually been to the Glades myself a few years back, and actually on several occasions. And the area you have a lot of swampy area. Basically, that's what it is. It's basically just overgrown swamps. They do a lot of the airboating there in that area, and that's where a lot of your reports of the skunk ape comes from.
And so, for when it comes to reporting, do people report it to the news, or do people report it to like a specific website?
Well, it's reported to different. Go ahead, Blake.
I mean, BFRO is like one of the main, sources of reports, but I mean, a lot of your reports just go unheard. I mean, a lot of people don't tell their stories. If they do, it's not publicly.
I think we need to touch upon that a little bit more as well, because I know there's a lot of researchers who love to keep their research private, but that one difference between that person and people trying to censor the fact of Bigfoot and Sasquatch's existence, I think they should really publicize their research. Like I get in conversations with people all the time on Bigfoot, Sasquatch, UFOs. I was talking to someone recently about it too.
A lot of people don't release stuff they find just because of the ridicule that comes with it sometimes.
Well,
I mean, you can put out the best piece of evidence and it's always going to get shot down. So, I mean, a lot of people just don't want to even, don't even care about they know what they've caught. They don't care. They don't need justification, from other people. So, or not even justification at that point. I mean, because you're going to have people that nitpick at everything in evidence, and especially when it comes to photos. I mean, photos and video evidence, are kind of pointless.
Yeah, I agree. I even get a lot of hate for my own research, Even in my own group, I have over 90 people in my group, and I have a rule in my group for tolerance of no hate, because I don't put up with that crap, And when people say, "Oh, there's nothing there," well, that's because you're not using your eyes and not opening up to seeing what we see. Like, I will even draw out what I exactly saw, pinpoint where I saw, and I'll still get hate for it. And I'm like, there's some days when I don't even take pictures when I'm out researching, because I'm out there to go enjoy researching, and enjoy being in the presence. And another thing I do want to touch up, though, is, for people that just talk and talk and talk behind the screen without even knowing a researcher's background, like, you guys have years of experience, and I still, want to talk to you guys more about your stories and encounters and experiences. But, before people shut people down like you down, they need to understand how long you've been encountering this for. And
well,
I I think that they should have respect for us as well.
The reason so many people do that, though, is because there's so many fakes out there. There's so many people that fake evidence. There's so many people that are dishonest. So, I mean, it takes away, you know, it's the old saying, you know, it takes one person to ruin it for everybody.
Oh, definitely.
So, I mean, it's kind of a touchy subject. I mean, it's you know, like, you know, that's one reason, like, we don't share a lot of photos and stuff like that, because I'm the type of person, if it's not right in front of your face, like, you know, say you get people in the paranormal world that take a picture and then they, you know, it's called paraphernalia, that see something in a photo that, you know, making a shape or something out of something that's not really there. I mean, you know, your eyes are playing tricks on you type situation.
Oh yeah, I've experienced that many times myself, and I'm
you
not
get so many people that share stuff like that. Then I mean, it's just there's so many people that just fake evidence. I mean, it ruins it for people that actually put out good evidence.
I do agree.
You're talking about faking evidence. You know, that has been going on ever since the internet has been introduced, as far as
I mean, just look like
Sasquatch world is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, look at like what happened to us the other week. You know, I mean, we get sent a photo, get told we don't know where the photo come from. Super compelling photo. I mean, like, you know, great trail cam picture. And basically we were told it came from an area that we research all the time, so, you know, it automatically piques our interest. And especially looking at the creature or the being in the photo, or where, you know, whatever you want to refer to it as, and didn't really, you know, question it much at first because it come from a reliable source from who actually gave us the photo. Well, didn't really think much about it. We really weren't paying attention to a lot that was going on in the photo other than the actual Bigfoot it was in the photo. Well, then somebody brought up something about something, and, you know, get to looking at the photo. Then I mentioned to him about there being so many leaves on the tree to be caught, you know, a week, 2 weeks ago, and there were no leaves on the trees. Well, he got to question it, and himself, the guy that we received the photo from, actually found where it came from. It was a trail cam photo from North Carolina in January 2019. So basically, he got a prank. The guy that gave it to him didn't know he knew people like us and stuff like that. So he didn't think it was going to go like where it did. He just thought he was going to give it to Dwayne. His name's Dwayne, and that, you know, it'd be left at that, and just pretty much hoaxing him type situation. Well, then it reached our hands and everything, and it makes people look bad. I mean, you know, when somebody's dishonest like that. I mean, because we posted on our Facebook group and everything, and you know, luckily we figured all this out within about 12 hours, 14 hours of being posted on our Facebook group. But I mean, and it made the guy that got the photo that gave it to us, he's new to all this. So he was super intrigued to it. Like, you know, it had him pumped to go research this area. And then to come to find out he got played pretty much, you know, it's a letdown, you know. I mean, it takes somebody that was just getting into it and you know, just getting interested in a subject, then the first thing that they receive like that is fake.
So was it someone that dressed up and
no, the photos, as far as the origin of the photo, I mean, you know, it's more than likely a Bigfoot, you know. I mean, I didn't do much research about the actual photo after we figured out where it came from and everything. But the point is somebody stole the photo, said it came from an area it did not, gave it to somebody that had no clue, and we didn't know when we received the photo. So it took us a little bit of investigating and everything to find out where the photo actually came from.
And then did you guys end up talking to the person that owns the original?
No. We don't know the guy. So we know the guy that gave us the photo. We don't know the guy that he got it from.
Yeah, that's another thing that I do hate so much, is when someone steals photos that's not even theirs. I remember one time I posted my own photo of Bigfoot. And guess what someone does? Screenshots it and claims that it's theirs. Thing is, look at
That's what, you're talking about people not, releasing evidence. That's that's another reason. Because I mean,
Yeah.
so many people will claim evidence that's not theirs.
Yeah, no, it's so frustrating sometimes, man. Like one of my friends, she was doing research on something. I forgot what. I think it was spirits or you know those rods that like zoom across your screen, sometime, and like you'll take a picture and it'll look like the spine of a bat.
Yeah, I've heard. I
Yeah,
know what you're talking about.
and she caught a picture of one of those, and some dingus screenshotted it and posted it in the same group that she was in, and everyone in the group got fired up, and I was like, and that's why sometimes I don't even, if my research is like that good, I'm gonna keep it on my website. I'm not gonna go post it somewhere else where some person's gonna steal my content. And for anyone else that does this, it's not worth screenshotting someone else's content when you could go get your own. I do want to read another comment from your guys' channel. Yes, hoaxers have gone nuts all sooner. I do agree with that. I hope you have a good night as well, praying and squatching. But I think with
Because that's pretty much all our channel is, and what we do. We're just here for people to talk to, explain their experiences and whatnot,
and share your own too, which yours are amazing to listen to. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, you guys gotta go listen to the previous podcast that we did with them. When was it? Like earlier this month?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, just search up a night with Paranormal Awakening, and then it should show up.
They're just the evidence side of Bigfoot research. You're not going to gain anything from releasing evidence. You're going to gain more doubt than your positivity.
Well, there's so much jealousy that goes on in the Bigfoot world. Researchers that are actually out there on the ground every day and gather evidence, as Blake says, because of all the hoaxing and all that goes on, they don't want to release the evidence. They want to keep it all for themselves. But it's a hoaxing aspect of it, but then also it's a jealousy aspect because everyone that I've encountered wants to be Big Daddy, Big Dog. They want to have it all. They want to prove that this thing is real and get all the glory out of it. Well, I'm not like that. If I've got a research area where I've got something going on, and I know that there's someone that's just started into the field that wants to research these creatures and gain more knowledge, hey, I'll take them and show them what I found. I'll take them and try my best to let them interact with the Sasquatch. There's no jealousy on my part whatsoever.
Well, hey, count me in. I'll be more than happy to make a trip at least sometime in my life, hopefully.
Well, and at the same time, if you are doing research and everything, you're doing it for the fact of research, to prove something, to release information. And I mean, especially in a subject where you don't have any professionals, because you can't have, like, it just same as the paranormal world, there are no experts. You have people that have knowledge, you have people that's done it longer, you have people that understand it more, but scientifically, I mean, you can't explain any of it. And then even the same with Bigfoot research. I mean, you can have a hair sample, you can have this, and scientifically, it may say one thing, but that what that says means nothing because they don't acknowledge it.
Well, going back to what you were saying about hairpiece, it's kind of funny that you're bringing that up because the FBI did do a recent. It wasn't too long ago, actually, that they did encounter some sort of hair evidence and DNA evidence of Bigfoot. And
Look, we've had look at what's her name? I can never remember her name.
Melba Ketchum, yes.
do you want to?
Dr. Ketchum. I mean, look at her evidence for years. You know, she was such a renowned DNA expert before she got into what she released and her findings with Bigfoot. She was the FBI. She was the go-to person in the world or in the United States for that. She was one of the best. And all of a sudden, she comes out with evidence saying she's looked at DNA that she has no explanation for, and all this, and now totally discredited.
Wow.
Like, you know, it ruined her name. It didn't in the Bigfoot world. You know, she gained a lot of respect and everything because she still stands by her evidence. But as far as her career, as that aspect goes, she lost so much respect.
Wow.
But was super. You know, she was right, the person to go to before. But it's just like people like that are willing to put their name on the line. Well, I mean, that's enough evidence. That's all I need to know. If she found DNA saying that she has so and so, and she does not have an explanation for it, to me, that's enough scientific proof you need.
And what was her name again?
Dr. Melba Ketchum.
How do you spell that? Or do you one of y'all want to text me after the show, and then that way I can.
Yeah, I'll look it up and text. I'll look it up and text you after the show.
Yeah, Ricky, you're the writer. You should know how to spell it.
He's probably a better writer than I am.
He's got a couple books published. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to take a look and see if are they on Amazon or?
Yeah. They're basically fiction books where basically back just give you a little info on this back what's it been, Blake? 12, 13 years ago I had a heart attack, was out of work for actually lost my job because of my declining health. So I got in. I got bored, wanted something to do, so I sat down and I wrote a couple of books, had them published, and that's basically what led into it.
So, for publishing a book now, what was that quite a big process, or? Wow.
Yeah, it took me about a year and a half on the first one to get it done.
Wow. Well, I'll have to check that out, and I'll promote your book on my show. So, and I'll upload this podcast to my show as well, and I'll promote your book as well.
All right, I'll give you details on it after the show.
Oh, looks like one of your.
It's a murder mystery, ain't it, Ricky?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
One of your viewers commented the name of the person that I can look up. I gotta write that down.
Yeah, Melba Ketchum.
Write that down right now. I have a bad memory. Like I can remember stuff from a long time ago, but like I can't remember stuff that happened 5 minutes ago. It's weird. It's like
hey, you're too young for all that, Scott.
Yeah,
I thought that only happened to us old people.
I'm not. Well, I'm sort of old. I'm 21 years old, so time will tell.
Oh man, you're just a babe in the woods.
Yeah,
you're still. It is. It makes me feel good to be able to say you're still wet behind the ears. I've worked hard to be able to say that.
You've been waiting for this moment.
How old do you think I am?
I'd say 36.
I'm 30.
Close enough. Yeah.
Boys, I ain't even gonna ask you how old you think I am.
You're 82.
No, not quite that old.
He's
You're
18.
getting there.
I'm only joking.
Hey, as Blake always says, I just young pup running around when Moses was still here. So
Yeah. He was best friends with Moses. I asked him how old Moses was all the time.
Oh my.
Boys, I'll tell you what. From what I've had happen to me in my lifetime, I'm proud to still be here.
This is true, Ricky. You've been through the ringer, that's for sure.
And we're proud you're still here.
Look, he had what? You had your first heart surgery at how old were you?
I was 26. That was 1985. Had a aortic valve replacement, and then in 2013, I ended up having to have 2 metal heart valves put in, aortic and mitral valve. I have COPD.
The heart attack before the valve replacement.
Yeah. I have COPD. I go into AFib at the drop of the hat. So, you know, I consider myself very fortunate that the good Lord's let me stick around.
He's a perfect excuse not to get. If he can get out in the woods and do research, let that motivate the people that think they can't get out and do it. I mean,
it's good exercise too.
We'll walk a couple miles. I mean, yeah, he may have to take a break in between, you know, for a little bit or something. But he got bad where he couldn't do stuff for a few years. But all that was the doctor's fault. They had him all screwed up on these medicines and stuff. And ever since they got that all fixed up and everything, he's able to get around pretty good.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is outrun him. That's all I gotta worry about.
Hey, ain't nobody outrunning me. I'm just saying.
Hey, brother, him and his dad pulled one on me back years ago down at the lake. This was back 2010, 2011. We were down there researching, and first time his dad ever actually heard a Bigfoot yell, and this thing screamed out, and I turned around, and him and his dad was gone. Now this was like 3 months after I'd had a heart attack. We were parked about a mile and a half in the truck, but when I get back over to the truck, those two are sitting in the truck with the doors locked. His dad rolls the window down, looks at me, and says, "Hey, buddy, I didn't have to outrun Bigfoot. All I had to do was outrun you." I was thinking, yeah, man, yeah, real friends, you know. Leave me out there for the beast to get.
You know, I don't think they're really harmful as some people think they are. Well, personally, that's my own thought.
Well, they're more than just opinion that plays into that. I mean, you gotta look at the circumstance that the encounter happened on.
That too.
I mean, you know, if they're young involved, you're more likely to have a aggressive encounter than you know, a good encounter.
Yeah, there is.
You know, I think a lot of encounters that people have with these creatures are juveniles just screwing around with you. I think you're more or less their entertainment. They throw rocks at you. They'll throw sticks at you. They'll whoop. They'll break tree limbs. They do stuff like this. The juveniles, I feel, do just to get your reaction, so they can basically sit back and laugh at you.
Yeah, that would make sense. You know, a lot of the encounters you have with juveniles are more of your non-aggressive encounters, and you know, you run across a big male, you know, you might have a different encounter than say your juvenile encounters or your younger encounters.
Yeah, I think that is, you know, because with like lions, you know, and them having baby cubs or mountain lions as well. There's footage I was watching with my family recently, and there's like a mountain lion walking right next to this guy he was just walking on a trail, and this mountain lion got defensive over their cubs, and so they're like really aggressive, and maybe there might be a connection between that and Bigfoot as well.
Even bear the same way. You run among the cub, you run, you know, which, I mean, most time if you run up on a cub, there are mother bear around. But I mean, you know, a cub isn't going to really bother you too much. They're typically going to go the other way. Now, you know, a mama bear on the other hand, or, you know, a grown adult bear, is you're more than likely to have an aggressive counter versus a cub. Kind of may be the same way with Bigfoot.
And that ain't gonna be a fun day for you.
Well, guys, that's just like, you know, my family dog out here, Ginger. She's one of the sweetest dogs there is in the world. Anybody can pet the dog. She loves everybody, but you let her have a litter of pups, hey, that hussy will not let you around that doghouse. If she's got pups in her doghouse, you don't go nowhere around it. She'll eat you up. And that's just like it is with Sasquatch or any other animal out in the forest.
Well, even humans, you know, we protect our young. You know, I mean, it's just the thing. I mean, yeah, we're not always super aggressive like that, but I mean, it's same concept though.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I definitely do.
We're a little bit more domesticated than other creatures or other animals with young, but I mean, so we can go out in public without, you know, getting offensive over our young unless something happens to them. But you know, it's same thing.
Well, I don't think there's anything else on my mind that I have to share other than those encounters and what we talked about towards now.
All right, buddy, we're right at the hour mark. Let's go ahead and close her out. Blake, you wanna close the show out, buddy?
If everyone don't mind, go check out Scott's YouTube page or YouTube channel, Paranormal Awakening. That's correct, right?
Yep. And if I can also say something, I want to say thank you to hold on, wait, what was it? North West Georgia Cryptics?
Yeah.
Okay, I said that correct. Yeah. Thank you guys to North West Georgia Cryptics for having me on. Another great show as well, with plenty more in the future. I'm definitely going to take another trip out to Florida for more research and stuff, and maybe I'll go hit that trail here that I was talking to you about.
Well, and if you're in Florida, you're not too far from us, so we could always try to get together sometime.
Definitely, maybe for season 2 of my show. I don't know where season 1's going, but maybe season 2.
Well, as always, guys, if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, bell notification, like, and a comment. And we can't thank you guys enough for your support. Like I said, if you don't mind, Scott's a great guy. Go show his channel some love as well.
Thank you so much in advance.
I hope everyone has a great night.
And please, everyone, with everything that's going on out here today, especially with this COVID virus, please, everyone, you know, do what you have to do to protect yourself from this. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining in tonight. Blake, Scott, thank y'all for being here with me. Until next week, everybody have a safe and blessed time out there. Rick Weaver from North West Georgia Cryptics. Good night, everybody.